Hello, welcome to another episode of In the Line of Wire. We have today Samir Feroz and Savant from a company called Veriqual, who have also incubated Yellopk, which you may be familiar with. That was incubated about 3 months ago and is still in beta. So let's talk to them and find out about the two companies, what they're doing and what their plans are for the future. Hi.
Hi, John. How are you?
Welcome to the set of In the Line of Wire.
Thank you.
Great
good
to have you here. So, before we start with the companies and what they are, tell us a little about yourselves. Samir, beginning with you.
Sure.
What's your background? Why did you get into technology?
Okay. A local boy, born and raised in Karachi. Moved to London with my family when I was probably about 13 or 14.
Okay.
My father's a heart patient. He needed to go. And at that time, I was just starting my studies for A-levels.
Okay.
I was doing it quite early. So
one of the bright kids who do things early,
No,
right?
it's not that. My parents just decided to put my sister and I were a year and a half apart in school at the same time.
Okay.
So
Less trouble.
less trouble, yeah.
Okay.
So did my A-levels and university there, studied engineering and business finance. Then went into the big bad world of investment banking.
Wow.
For 3 years, worked in New York and London. But at the end of that period, I was fairly disillusioned with the way the finance industry worked. It was simply making money, using money, and I didn't see any sort of basis to it in terms of goods, products, or services.
Okay.
So I guess in that sense, I was a little bit ahead of my time in realizing that there's some sort of bubble.
I wish the rest of the world had realized that sooner rather than
I guess, yeah. But yeah, having sort of left investment banking, I wandered for a year or so discovering the world and myself, and decided that computer science was the thing I wanted to pursue.
Okay.
So I was fortunate to get a scholarship to study at the University of Cambridge and did a computer science degree there.
Did you know Umar Saif at that time?
I did, yeah. Umar was there at the same time as,
wow.
as I was.
So we've discovered a connection.
Yes.
All right. So you did computer science at the University of Cambridge, after which you came back here?
I then came back here. Having come back here, I knew I wanted to start a software development company, but the first thing I did was go and work in a very small software development company that was based here.
Okay.
With the idea of finding out what it was like to actually work here and what sort of problems the employees faced.
Okay.
So I wanted to be an employee for a while. I worked with them for about 8 or 9 months, and then started Veriqual.
Okay. And that was when?
This was back in 2003. I started working with that company. In 2004, I started Veriqual. So it's been 5 years. We've, alhamdulillah, got really good projects, clients under our belt, and we've now got 2 offices, one in Karachi, one in Lahore.
Okay.
And
what's the size of the teams in Karachi and Lahore?
Total, we're about 30 or 35 people or so, the 2 teams combined. And we work mostly with the UK, South Africa, Saudi Arabia. We've got clients in.
Any local clients?
Actually, we have a separate company that's called NLT, National Logistics and Technology.
God, the more I talk to you, the more companies I hear about. Okay.
Well, there's only 2.
All right.
So NLT, in fact, does all the local work. And we work with...
In the same space?
Slightly different. It's more enterprise. We work with various pharmaceuticals, etc. But honestly, that's a very small part of the business. NLT is really there to incubate nice new projects like Yellowk.
Okay.
And Veriqual is our software development company, which does all the kind of agile and
mainly for the export market.
Mainly for the export market, yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of startups.
Savant, what about you? What's your background?
Well, my background has been in IT since a long time now. And
where did you go to school?
I did my schooling from Hyderabad.
Ah, okay, good.
And
we've never had anyone from Hyderabad. At least we've never asked them if they're from Hyderabad. So.
Yeah, so this is the first time. Actually, I have been living in Jamshoro.
Okay.
Right, and so from there on, my graduation was from Isra University, Hyderabad. I did it in computer science. Then I came to Karachi and did my post-graduation in computer science again from Zabist.
Okay.
And then I went about in the industry. It was just last year that I came across Samir, and although I had been in the development area mostly and been a software engineer for a long time, but I had that entrepreneurial zeal inside me, and I think Samir saw that and he said, okay, why not come and join us? We are building this platform called Yellopk. And I was inspired. I thought, okay, yeah, this is a good project. And
it excited you?
Yeah, it excited me a lot. And I really thought, okay, with my expertise and with Samar's vision, we can take it to a greater height. Yeah.
Great, great. So now tell us a little about the kind of work that VeryQual has done.
We work with, well, it all started off in 2004. I just gotten married and my wife was very supportive. So yeah, bought the ticket, went there and met some really wonderful people, guys from a company called Focus, and they did software testing. And VeryQual was at that point focusing purely on software testing. So we met up with them, and they, within sort of 2 weeks, had set up a meeting at Microsoft, and we were sitting at their offices, pitching for business. And yeah, that was a real learning experience in terms of how to go about, pitching for new business in the UK. So things took off from there, and we've slowly moved from software testing to a little more enterprise stuff, and then for the last 2 years, we've been focusing almost solely on startups and working in a very agile way with our clients.
Okay.
Probably completed.
And is there a lot of business in the startup here?
Yes, alhamdulillah. I mean, in the last year or so, we've actually seen our business increase, whereas most companies have seen it decline by about 30% or so. But the focus on startups, I guess what's happening is a lot of people used to work for large corporates, multinationals, investment banks.
And now becoming entrepreneurs.
They're redundant, and now they're becoming entrepreneurs, and we were, I guess, in the right space to be sort of,
Well, people do say that the depression is the best time to start businesses. So
I believe that, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're still kicking things around while everybody else is now looking to restart, then I guess you've got some kind of a lead, which is great.
I'm glad to hear that, because there are some companies that are doing very well at this time, and so yours is one of them. Now tell us about Yellopk. It's something totally different from what you've been doing all these years, right? Yeah. So how did the idea come about? Savan, you want to start?
Well, when I was approached for Yellow, the concept.
So the idea came from you?
Yeah, of course. The idea came from Samir.
Okay.
And it was all about building a local portal that would have everything, it would be focused around your location. Where you are, in your neighborhood, everything revolves around you.
Why yellow?
Okay.
And yellow spelled Y-E-L-L-O.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, you're trying to ruin our spelling.
Actually, you can think of it in this way. It's the word yell, and it's the word yellow, as in, say, yellow pages. It's the combination of those. Essentially, having come back to Pakistan, I found the country changed from the country I'd left. A little bit out of, fish out of the water. I didn't really know how to go about things, where to find things, etc. So that's a problem I've faced since 2002 or 3 when I came back, and I wanted to address that in some way. There wasn't an information source I could go to find out where to get the best mason or find the best place to eat or whatever.
True.
And that probably isn't going to come from some sort of government body or some sort of agency. But given that we have this wonderful technology that lets us crowdsource things, then why not? And combined with that, the yell part is about actually letting out your, I guess, steam or making some positive moves for social change. And those two things together are the thinking behind Yellow.
Even if this information did come from a government agency or a company, probably it wouldn't have the same credibility that it does if it is from another person just like you, who's had the experience and wants to share it, that look, this restaurant has great food, or that I used a particular mason or a carpenter or a plumber or somebody, and he was really great, and so if you want to get this kind of work done, this is the guy to go to.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's certainly more updated than something you would get out of a phone book, and what we are very careful about is we actually haven't taken data from anywhere. We're actually collecting it ourselves because it needs to be up to date. And then now people are beginning to add in more data. So it's becoming a very useful resource.
Okay, now at first it was closed beta, right?
Yep.
Now it's an open beta. Anybody can go and register. So yellow.pk.
Exactly.
You can go in, register, and then start adding up your own content, talking about, putting up events. I put up something this morning about
discovering
the
your
tweet that we're
city,
gonna-
connecting with people.
Yeah. So, how many people have you got registered so far, or haven't you been able to spread the word yet?
Oh no, we've. I think daily we get probably in double digits people signing up,
Right.
and the number using it is several hundred every day, and growing, alhamdulillah.
Okay, terrific. Now, I also noticed that during the time that there were relief funds being collected for the SWAT victims, you guys were very active. How did that go, and what was the response?
That was someone putting the two things together in a flash. Do you want to talk
Actually,
about
the idea was, we have Yellow is a platform.
Right.
It is already location aware.
Right.
So we thought of that, why not utilize it for such events, like for example, when there is disasters, when there is some disaster. So we can arrange if like everyone donates, right? But we need the points where to give that donation.
Right. That's always the problem.
That's always the problem, where to go, where to find it out. And Yellow is especially good for people if you're going in, to another city. For example, you're going to Lahore, you are not really aware of Lahore, for example. Now you want to find out about the specific points, the restaurants, or specifically talking about the IDP points that we did. You were in Lahore, for example. Now you wanted to donate something. Or
But you wouldn't know where to go.
There was no way to go. So that is where the platform came in. It was all there. The application is there. So we just came up with a new use case for that application that we can utilize it for this purpose as well.
And did people use it? Because I noticed that a lot of people from outside Pakistan were very actively involved.
Yeah, they did. That's what drove Yellow. The people from outside Pakistan as well, they were continuously using it, and people from all over Pakistan. And
good. It's always good to find social use for platforms that already exist.
Yellow has a very integrated social program.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when Sawanth came on board, basically it wasn't the technical expertise or that which brought us together. That obviously had to be there.
Yeah.
But over a cup of coffee at T2F, we sat and discussed about
another meeting at T2F.
Another meeting. Yeah, they're the ones causing all the trouble.
Okay.
So yeah, we talked about what we envisioned and how technology could be used to perhaps improve things in small ways, one step at a time. And recently, Sawanth has started describing it as making positive change, one yell at a time.
Wow, I like that. Okay, great.
So I guess that was the thinking
the
behind
reason.
it. And more now we are beginning to use this platform for highlighting great things that are happening in the city. So for example, we just covered a scheme called the Rozgar scheme.
Yeah.
And that's working in areas of Kurangi, and it's basically microfinance, but without the interest. And
right.
So we went out with a camera crew, covered it, and inshallah, there's a Yellow magazine which is coming out next month.
All right.
Inshallah, so that will be
that
covered
will
in
be
that.
how many copies?
Initially, we have probably about 10,000 copies that
and
will be
distributed
printed.
all over Pakistan or just Karachi?
Karachi initially, and then, well, when the time is right, maybe we'll look at other
Okay.
cities.
Now the next question is, how do you make these things, these initiatives, self-sustaining and profitable? Because you need to monetize them if they're going to continue, otherwise they will sort of fizzle out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So have you given that any thought?
Yeah, that certainly was one of the things we thought of before we started building. So within the web application itself, there are opportunities clearly for advertising and things like that. Businesses being able to essentially offer discounts, coupons, advertising, maybe even moving on to, once Yellow has that kind of brand trust, e-commerce type transactions. So that's within the web app. But then we know that's going to take time.
Of course, because people are not really into that much web advertising yet.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's one of the reasons the print and also mobile comes into play. So we're looking at all three things. Okay. And the print is something that will, inshallah, give us the revenue early on to be able to sustain this. Okay. And we're building on the iPhone platform right now for an iPhone app. Terrific. And soon, inshallah, BlackBerry.
I can then run it on my iPhone.
Well, yeah, you can be driving around Karachi and see reviews and see you know, things like Rozgar, for example, happening in Korangi, you want to get involved, it's in your neighborhood or whatever, then, you know, you can see all those sorts of things showing up.
Now, tell me the next question that I had, and that has my mind right now.
Let's skip to the one after.
No, when is Yellow going to come out of beta?
I think we'll probably keep it in beta until we are happy with the user experience.
When do you think that will be? Because it's quite user friendly even now. I mean, I used it myself, and I found that it was quite easy to find whatever I was looking for, to put in information.
Yeah.
So I know, I mean, being the founders and being the initiators of this, you want it to be perfect, but can't that be done over time rather than?
Well, Gmail has been under beta for too long, and it just came out of beta.
Okay, all right, you got me there.
Yeah, you know, we're not restricting anyone from using it, and it's there, it's already being used. It's just that label, and I guess it's us being a little bit hesitant taking that off, because we know there are things that we want tiny improvements we need to make, which make the user experience better. But it's high praise that you say that it was easy to use.
No, it was. I don't say it unless I mean it. Now, what are your plans for the future for Yellowk? Is there anything else that you want to add to it, to the functionalities that already exist?
Sure. At the moment, we are building some other things in there. For example,
it already connects to Facebook.
It does, yeah. It has from almost day one. We have.
Well, one thing missing in Yellowk is that within the blogs you cannot post videos, for example.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we have that. We want to build that capability within Yellow, that you can post videos as well, or you can embed them as well. And because Yellow is so localized, and we want people to get involved, so be it a video, or photograph, or anything that you want to post about your neighborhood. And there are other things that we are covering as well. For example, we want to cover local events. For example, if there is some cricket tournament going on in some neighborhood, we want people to post that kind of stuff on Yellow. That is where the power of Yellow would come from.
So more citizen journalism than anything.
Kind of citizen journalism, and like, let's say you live in North Nazimabad, and you will be aware of whatever is happening around you. If there is some Meena Bazaar that you are not aware of, that didn't come in the newspaper.
Wouldn't.
Yeah, it wouldn't. There is some Counter-Strike tournament going on that the young people won't be aware about, but seeing it on Yellow, they will be. You know? So that is the kind of things that we want Yellow to get from people.
Right.
And that is what we are focusing on right now.
Terrific.
Because it's map based.
Right.
You set your location.
It's location based.
So you know what's happening around you.
Right.
And also basically we have to take what we want to do is take the ego out of the applications in the sense that we want things to talk to each other, and if data goes out of our application, do other things, that's fine with us. We want to encourage that. So hence Facebook integrations, and now what we're doing is allowing people to follow blogs, and that also they'll be able to take out of the app. They don't necessarily have to come to Yellow to read it.
And how are you promoting it?
How is Yellow being promoted? The magazine is certainly one part of it. Word of mouth was part of it, but then we've also been going to universities and had fantastic response from there, because I guess that really is the sort of demographic people are really willing to use.
I mean, if you can get university kids to use it, everybody else will follow.
Yeah.
And there had been 2 meetups as well.
Okay.
Yeah, where we met up with people and talked about things, about Karachi specifically.
So that was a pretty good turnout. We had at each meetup we had about 20 or 25 people, and they all had great ideas, and they've kind of become community ambassadors. So
focus groups.
Well, more like they became ambassadors for Yellow, and now they're also getting others involved.
You're probably like Rabia, you don't pay them either.
Free coffee and free food.
That's always the best way to get them. It attracts people. If you give them free coffee, you give them free food, they're willing to do anything. Anyway, that's great, and I hope that we will catch up with you and find out what else happens with Yellow in the months ahead. But good luck with that, and we will certainly start putting up all our events on Yellow, and probably our viewership and our readership will also start doing that, so that it becomes more of a place where people get together.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, that was the team from Yellowk and also Very Qual. I can never remember the names of companies because they're so different, and there's a reason behind it. The founder has thought it through. For me, it's the first time I've heard it. Join me again for another episode of The Line of Wire. Until then, bye-bye.